Hello again, everyone. Witch Doctor here, looking at the markets, and I'm looking at the dollar index futures and the major currencies. You can see on the 4-hour chart here, you got the dollar on the left, yen, Swissy, Canadian on the top, euro, pound, Aussie on the bottom. And what we're doing is taking a look at the 4-hour charts to get an insight as to what we did this week and compare it to what we did last week. As you can see, starting with the dollar index futures, the dollar index futures was able to break down below last week's low here, and did essentially try to trade down into the 79 even area before rallying up into the back end of the week here, finishing off at 79.70. And in respects to that, it was kind of interesting because you have the euro here tried to break out of last week's high, gave you a pretty decent opportunity on a breakout right there. The pound was not able to stay above last week's high, but it did try to get up above it initially before failing later on in the week, and then the Australian dollar was able to get above last week's high and then push up all the way up to 104. On the flip side here, you can see here that the Japanese yen did try to make it outside of last week's trading range, and sure enough, finishing up at 79.31. And the Swiss franc was able to break down below last week's low, finding some support at 92.20 before rallying up into the back end of the week. But the Canadian dollar here, trying to break out, failed, and then broke out a second time and basically finished on the highs for the week. So the Canadian dollar looks like it's actually building a little bit of strength here in the face of all of this, the selling here that we had in the dollar, which is kind of interesting because if you look around, typically what I expect is that the dollar index would do the same thing as the Swiss franc and the Canadian. And you can see here that the Canadian and the Swiss franc went in the opposite direction of one another. You had the Swiss franc break down below last week's low, and you had the Canadian dollar break up above last week's low, which is that typically gives me the insight that the dollar index is really not cooperating with the components are not cooperating with the direction of the dollar index futures. So you can see we did break down, and then at some point we did find a low at 79 even before breaking back up and then rallying in the dollar index futures. And this kind of coincides with, as you can see, we put in a low right about the same time that the Swiss franc put in a low, and the Canadian dollar here putting in a low as well before rallying up. So towards the back end of the week, that makes sense. But in the beginning of the week, it just didn't seem right. As you can see, you got the Swiss franc breaking down and the Canadian dollar breaking up, but the the pound here and the euro breaking out of last week's high before rallying, that definitely gave you an opportunity. The pound probably obviously did not break through here, or in terms of follow through, did not follow through, running into some sellers at 160, but the euro here 130.20, let's call it 130.24, breaking out and then pushing 130.24 and then pushing all the way to say 131.24. That's a nice 100 pip run right there. The Australian dollar too, 103 even all the way up to 104. That's a nice 100 pip run too. So as you can see, these intra-week breakouts, when you take a look at breaking above or below last week's high or low, proved to be really significant events throughout the week. And even in the Japanese yen, we breaking out here at 78.75, and you can see here only about 10 or 15 points of risk before rallying up. Let's just call it something like 50 points if you were to close out on the if you were to close your trade right near the highs here at 79.31. So essentially, it looks like pretty decent opportunities that came in this week. However, the markets didn't really get anything going in terms of any follow through. The euro running into some major resistance around the 31.50 zone. Pound dollar running into some serious resistance at 161.60. And the Australian dollar running into some nasty resistance at 104. So now it's a question as to whether or not the dollar index is going to find buyers, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the premium video. So that's all I got for this market wrap. I hope it helps. Good luck in trading. Stay safe out there. Best regards to all, and we'll see you at the next market wrap. While I got you here, I wanted to take a quick moment to say that if you really liked what you're looking at here in the free Forex market wrap video, I wanted to give you the opportunity to come take a look at the premium weekly Forex market wrap video that I do every week. And basically it's a little bit more in depth, or should I say a lot more in depth information about the markets that I cover. And you can see here that in this short video I go over the basics about what I've been looking at on the major currencies. In the more in-depth market wrap video, I take a look at a in-depth analysis on the 6 major currency pairs. You also get actionable trading scenarios. The important thing here is that we're offering a 3-day risk-free trial, so you don't have to pay a cent. It's about a 30 to 45 minute video that'll go through all the major currency pairs that I look at, and it shows you a lot more in-depth analysis and forecast, looking at the longer term picture and the big major trends that are affecting what you're looking at on the lower time frames that you're looking at on a day-to-day basis. So take a moment to go take a look at the premium market wrap video. You can see the link here provided, www.traderstouch.com/3day, and it also includes a free membership to the Traders Learning Network, where you can meet other traders that are like-minded individuals, and they're basically there to help everybody looking at the same markets as you. So good luck, hope it helps, and look forward to seeing you on the inside.